Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report. Attempting to do a live show today. It is Friday the 14th, about 6:32 p.m. Central Time, my time. If you're watching this, that means this live show was a success. You might want to fast forward to maybe the 10-minute mark. That's usually when it fills up enough to actually start get down to the nitty gritty. If you're watching this and you have not subscribed, this channel is still an infant. I'm at like 340. My goal is to get to at least minimum 500 by week one against the Giants. If I can get to 1,000 by week one against the Giants, even better. When I reach 1,000, this channel will grow exponentially. I'll be able to get microphone, studio equipment, sound bites, a desktop just for this, for film and graphics, and a call-in line, just like Law Nation does. That was the best thing he could ever done, was do the call-in line. I will have that also. That opens up to every demographic, age, and sex. I mean, you call in, agree with me, disagree with me, or agree to disagree. We'll just call in game, what you think about the game, or what you think about the game that we're about to play, or what you think we're doing good or well or bad during the off season. This seems to work for Mike Fisher, so I'm gonna give it a go too, guys. If you're watching this on a count of three, if you get that subscribe button, it is free. It costs you nothing. It's a free investment. Think of it that way, because this channel will grow into a diamond gem. When I hit 1,000, it will grow exponentially. On three, let's hit subscribe, guys. Together, 1, 2, 3. Subscribe, hit it. If you did it, you're a real winner, and I love you for it. On a count of three, if we can hit that like button, like he says, it helps beat the algorithms. I guess helps get your video viewed more. On three, if we can hit that like button, guys. 1, 2, 3. Hit like. Boom, please. Cost you nothing. If you did it, you're a real one, and I love you for it. I'm seeing smaller content creators right now have their Cash App name on the bottom of their screen because they can edit. I can't edit yet because it's just me and my Galaxy. But this is what it's about. Donations to the channel. Right now, it's to get me to Oxnard. If I can get to Oxnard, I'm part of Star Status Houston chapter. It's the 13th chapter of the country. Originated in LA. Even Jerry Jones knows about us. I'll be able to be like right behind the players where the general public can't get to, and I'll be able to put down some dope ass videos. And then after that, whatever donations I get will be to build the channel, a la microphone, studio equipment, desktop, all that. Right now, it's just my cell phone and I, exactly how Law started all those years ago. Week 18 after the Washington Commander game, the Redskin game. I'm not kidding. They're the Redskins. They always will be. I throughout from here on, from here to the end of the season, I'm gonna tally. Who donated. Have a book. Whoever donates the most after week 18, the number one person will get a set of playoff tickets, maximum 3 persons. It'll be 50-yard line, lower deck. Second place will be 2 jerseys of your choice. Could be home, away, alternate, color rush, whatever. Customized. Third place is a Emmitt Smith Rookie of the Year card. And if donations are better, then prizes 2 and 3 will be better also. But as for right now, that's just kind of what it is. I don't really know if this is legible. I had to write it backwards since my phone films me backwards. It's just the $, lowercase c, lowercase 65466. Charles Martinez. My name will pop up. And if you do donate, just say it in the chat so I know it was you, and I'll put you down. But those prizes are in cement, and number 2 and number 3 might be better. And the Emmitt Smith rookie card actually might be autographed by that time, because a week before I was invited to join this Star Status Club, they had a meet and greet with Emmitt Smith. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I've had this card forever, and I could have easily got it signed. Emmitt Smith rookie card signed, man. A lot of perks with getting into a group like that. So I'm gonna sit here. Yeah, I talk 5 minutes to myself. I'm gonna sit here till the 10, 15 minute mark. Let some people jump in. We got one person that's jumped in so far. Um, just chill with me, hang with me for a minute. Let it fill in. Let us get like 5, 6 people in here. We can have a live show. I've had 2 successful ones. The show is still small, but this is how it grows. Who is that is tuning in, actually? If you could just kindly chat, that would be nice, or say your name, and then we can just talk about what you want to talk about until more people get into the room here. Let me make sure this volume is down. All right. People are coming in. Okay. Here, I'm actually on this myself on my wife's phone. So as you see, the chats do appear. The 3 people that are in here, it says 4, but there's 3. Who is tuning in at the moment? 2 just jumped out. Why do people do that? Stay, and let's talk ball. Let's talk Cowboys. We got some fire to hit on. Are some people just not interested in talking Cowboys? On just as good of a live show as anybody else. My videos are pretty good. My live shows are going to be even better, especially when I get that call-in line. The person that is still here, put something in the chat. Or just tell me what you think we're going to finish record-wise after 17 games. My prediction is 14-3. I think we have a real possibility of going 15-2. And I say that because we could have went 15-2 last season. If we don't blow the 2 leads, and if we actually played against Washington week 18, which we didn't, we knew we were locked into our Seagulls. We're not going to lose, and we weren't going to wear ourselves out playing a divisional opponent. That's why it was 26-6. Sam Howell's not the answer in Washington. They're going to be an easy 2-game win this season. It's going to be a happy Thanksgiving, too, also, being that we get to play them on Thanksgiving. It won't ruin my Thanksgiving like the Raiders did in Buffalo. And, oh, man, it'll be a good Thanksgiving like last Thanksgiving. Like, we'll beat the Giants. Washington be the same thing. I don't care who they have on their defensive front. They don't have much of a secondary. They do have a good D-line, but our offensive line is going to be pretty good too, especially if we grow a brain and we go out and we sign a Dalton Reisner, who could either just be a good depth piece. He's a starter, but he could be a good depth piece, or you could just plug him in at left guard and have Ty Smith as a swing tackle. As injury prone as he is, he would be the perfect swing tackle with a base salary of $3 million. You keep Tyler at left tackle, where he's growing. I mean, shoot, he was left guard all last offseason, preseason, and then right before Tampa Bay, they're like, hey, kid, we got to put you out on the island. And he went up against the likes of Shaq Barrett, Kevin Thibodeau, just all the major pass rushers in the NFL, Montez Sweat, Josh, and held his own. Only person that really kind of wrecked him was Aaron Donald against the Rams when he got back-to-back sacks and he lined up right on Tyler Smith. But that was Aaron Donald. Dalton Reisner is like the last good left guard left on the free agency list. He wouldn't be more than $3 million. Patriots signed Isaiah Wynn for $2.3 with incentives to make it a $2.7 million deal. And he can play left tackle or left guard at a pretty good level. Dalton Reisner is a good left guard, better than both Connors, better than Connor Williams and Connor McGovern. I know it would be great if the Patriots or Chuma Duga or Matt Willetsko or TJ Bass or to rise and shine as that left guard. But why leave it to chance? Go get that Dalton Reisner. And sign the power back. Sign the power running back. Zeke Elliott still has a lot to give to this team, just not at $15 million a year. No. $3 million, yeah. Bring him in, tell him $3 million. For in incentives. If you hit 1,000 yards, boom. If you hit 10 touchdowns, 15. He had 12 touchdowns last season. Like I keep saying, the first 15 games last season, he missed 2. He played 13. He had 4.2 yards a carry, 10 touchdowns in his first 13 games. That's what you want from your power back. He's a power back now. He's not the rookie speed back, electric, everything. He is the power back. And if your power back is getting 4.2 a carry and 10 touchdowns in 13 games, it's exactly what you want. And if he's pass protecting better than any other back in the NFL, that's what you want. And then Tony Pollard getting over 5 yards a carry, the speed back, the scat back, the home run hitter. Boom. And now we got Deuce Vaughn, the jitterbug. I know LaDainian Tomlinson has been cutting for him since we drafted him. I have not read what he has said about him, but I already know why he's cutting for him, because when he played for San Diego, Darren Sproles played in San Diego with LaDainian Tomlinson. And that was when Sproles was young, his first 4 seasons. And Tomlinson saw how good and dynamic Sproles was at 5'6", $180 or whatever. Dano, appreciate it, my man. I appreciate the support, driving and listening. That's cool, my man. I appreciate that. But I saw the headlines of Tomlinson cutting for Deuce Vaughn, and I already knew why, because he played with Darren Sproles in San Diego in the late 2000s, and he saw how good he was, and he sees that in Deuce Vaughn. It's like he wants to run a DNA test to see if that could be his, child. I mean, 5'6" to 5'5" is a 1-inch difference, but they weigh about the same. And Deuce Vaughn, pound for pound, is stronger than Darren Sproles. Has the same amount of shiftiness and quickness. You bring back Elliott. Then you got 3 backs. Elliott doesn't have to run the ball 230 times. His body's wearing down. He can't do that. He can still be a great power back. He still falls forward on every hit, just about, except for that snap the last game of last season. But you got the speed back, the $10 million home run hitter. You got the rookie Deuce Vaughn, the jitterbug, Darren Sproles type back, and then you got the power back, Zeke Elliott, the one to get that 3rd and 4th and 1, the one that keeps Dak upright in shotgun or on play action, and the one that has a nose. He has a nose for the end zone. Elliott scores touchdowns. That's 12 touchdowns right there. You got to replace two guys. We got, some people say we have $20.4 million left in the cap. Some people say we have $24 million. But Reisner and Elliott wouldn't cost that much. Like I said, you get Reisner for $3 million or less, and then Elliott, you could just safely say $5 million. That's $8 million against the $20 million that we have available right now. And then if somebody like Dorrance Armstrong gets dealt for, a draft pick because Philemi Fehoko Jr. and some of these other young cats really step up and look pretty damn good, and we deal Dorrance for like a 4th, that's 7.5 right there that becomes available in the cap. So that right there would pay for bringing on Reisner and Elliott. My biggest wish would be Jerry Jones reverting Yeah, I was about to get to that. Well, that's what I'm saying. Go grab Dalton Reisner at minimum because he's a plug and play left guard. He could be a depth piece, swing guard, or you could just plug him in at left guard. He's better than both Connors, and have Tyler at left tackle, and then Ty Smith as your swing tackle. Depth is the name of the game. Most every Super Bowl team had great depths. Our early 90s teams had great depth. So if our starting line is Tyler Smith, Dalton Reisner, Tyler Biadasz, who came off a Pro Bowl season, I don't know, he was an alternate, still made a Pro Bowl, contract year, and then Zach Martin and Terrence Steele. Hopefully he's healthy week one. If he's not, Ty Smith can step in. But when Steele's ready, he'll be back at right tackle. But if Tyron Smith is your swing tackle, that is the best swing tackle in the NFL, hands down. And then for swing guard, Chuma Adoga, he can play all five positions. If y'all didn't know, he can play left tackle, left guard, center, right tackle. Matt Willetsko, TJ Bass, swing guard won't be an issue either. And Matt Farniak is backup center, really. He's making the team because we don't have anybody that can snap the ball as well as Farniak can, besides Biadasz. But my dream is just like in 95, whenever Jerry Jones was burning the midnight oil to bring on Prime. He knew that if you brought Prime on, that would basically guarantee his third Super Bowl. That, Dion signed a one-year deal with San Fran. He was a free agent. If he could bring him in, it would make that number one defense even better. If our front office could be burning midnight oil right now to be looking to trade for a top 5 left guard. Now, Quentin Nelson, I doubt would be even on the block, being to have a rookie quarterback. When you have a rookie quarterback, you really don't want to trade your best lineman. You want to try to keep him alive so he can develop. But a top 5 left tackle or left guard, maybe a left tackle that could play left guard like a Jason Peters when he was, younger. I would give a first, a third, and Dorrance Armstrong for a top 5 left guard, left tackle. That right there would make the offensive line top 3 unit and maybe the best unit in the NFL. If we were to get that tier of a left guard. And then having the depth of 77 as swing, and then, our depth on the interior. The Eagles have a great offensive line, but they don't have much depth behind Lane Johnson and Mailata. Who do they have? Behind Jason Kelsey, they got Cam Jurgens. Hasn't played yet. Isaac Smalu left, so either Cam Jurgens is going to play right guard or the third round pick who played tackle, I think his last name is Steens, is going to play that position. And they got that left guard that we wish that we could have drafted. I forgot what his name is, made a Pro Bowl last year. He's pretty good. He's their young stud on the line. Kelsey is 38. Lane Johnson's like 36, 37. You're getting long in the tooth. Our 2 oldest guys are Zach Martin and Ty Smith at 32 years old. So if Ty Smith is a swing tackle, then our oldest lineman is Zach Martin at 32, the elder statesman. Yeah, Landon Dickerson, Dano. Landon Dickerson, a left guard. Man, could you imagine if we'd have got him? Oh, goodness. I mean, oh, Lord. Because if you get a top-notch offensive line, it doesn't matter. I mean, it kind of does, but it really doesn't matter who your running backs are. If you got a premium number 1 like Tony Pollard, then we could have Deuce Vaughn and Malik Davis. We wouldn't even really have to worry about Elliott. We could have Hunter Lupiki as the pass pro, power back. Wouldn't even have to worry about Zeke. In 2014, we had that great line, right? Ty Smith in his, that was his 4th year. Frederick in his second year, Zach Martin his rookie year, had Ronald Leary, and old veteran Doug Free at right tackle. DeMarco Murray exceeds 1,800 yards, breaks Emmitt Smith's franchise record. And DeMarco Murray, it's between him and Dez. We choose Dez. We signed Dez. We pay Bryant. DeMarco goes to Philadelphia. The following season, 2015, we had the same offensive line. Uh, I believe Ronald Leary left and Lyle Collins came in and was left guard. He should have stayed at left guard. He was made to be a guard. But we still have the best line in the league. And we start off 1-0. And week 2, Romo breaks his collarbone. He only plays 2 more games the rest of that season. But Joseph Randall was our starting running back that season. Lance Dunbar is number 2. That year, since we didn't have Romo, everybody knew we were going to run the ball, stack the box every game, every defense stacked the box, and we still averaged like 130 yards rushing a game. And that's Joseph Randall and Lance Dunbar. So if we were to make one more big splash and even give a first, our coveted draft picks, 5 left guard or left tackle that could play left guard, I would do it. Because we want to run the ball better this season, right? 21, we ran the ball excellent for a half a year. After the first 9 games, the run blocking and the run game just fell off. Last season, we ran the ball well for 3/4 of the season. And Terrence Steele gets injured. Ty Smith comes right in the nick of time. And we're thinking, I know I was thinking about everybody else. Zach Martin and Tyron Smith playing right next to each other. OMG. That's like, we're going to run off that right side with impunity. But that wasn't the case. Apparently, Ty Smith, who hadn't played right tackle since 2011, was not as good as Steele. Terrence Steele is a freaking monster. I said he would be the next Eric Williams, and he's looking like he's on the way to be that. So we ran the ball really well 3/4 of the season last year. Last quarter of the season, didn't run it too good. Didn't run it too well in the playoffs either. We want to run it good all year this year. I agree, but don't think the Joneses will give up much. Yeah, I know, Jerry. That's what I'm saying. This is just my wish that Jerry and Steven, and this wouldn't even be on, but would trade for a premium blue chip left guard or left tackle that could play left guard, and that would solidify the offensive line. Go into training camp with no question marks. Let me shut that bedroom door real quick. But I've got maybe it's a 10% chance, in the off season. We all knew the Brandon Cooks trade was going to happen. we all saw that coming. Nobody saw the Gilmore trade coming, right? When that happened, when I heard, we made a trade, I assumed it was Brandon Cooks. It was Stephon Gilmore, and I was like, oh my God, that's freaking genius. And then I still knew Cooks was coming. So, who knows? Maybe Jerry is smelling the blood in the water. He's like, what, mid-80s? He don't have that much longer to go. And he has said time in and time out that the check that he would write to win one more would be obscene. Verbatim obscene. Put your money where your mouth is, Jerry. And we wouldn't be like the Rams or Tampa or, even Philly at that matter. If we were to do that, to trade for a top 5 left guard, or just sign Dalton Reisner and bring on Elliott. Reisner would solidify the line also. Not as good, but solidify it to where it'd be a top 5 unit. If we did that, we would still be contenders next year and the year after and the year after because they're going to extend Dak, whether we like it or not. They're going to extend him. That's going to create a lot of cap room, and that's going to re-sign. That's going to be the money they're going to use to retain CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons. And those are the cornerstones of our team for the years to come. Yeah, Philly's never done. If we had Howie Roseman, oh man, if Howie Roseman had the roster that we have right now, and he had $21 million in cap space, he'd make sure he used it to almost guarantee another Super Bowl trip. He did that last season, and it got them to the big dance. They lost because Jalen Hurts mishandled the snap, fumble return, defensive touchdown for Kansas City. That is really why they lost the game. That one play. And then after that season, they lost a lot of their top players. Philly will be good this year. I keep saying that they're going to be a top 3 team in the NFC, but they're not going to be as good as last season. And not just because the guys they brought in to replace the guys that left aren't as good, but also because Jalen Hurts cannot carry the ball 20 times a game. That was the key to that offense, was him and his long stride and the way that he could, scramble. It wasn't 20 design runs a game, but if you add the design runs plus every time he broke containment and ran, he averaged 20 carries a game. Well, yeah, they lost in that second half also because Andy Reid is one of the best coaches of all time. Made hella adjustments in the second half, and they had Patrick Mahomes. But if they didn't give up that seven points on that bot snap, the favor still tilts in Philly's direction. You know what I mean? But in the second half, Kansas City came out with three straight scoring drives. Pacheco ran the ball well. Patrick Mahomes on one leg, playing Superman. That just threw me off on what I was about to say right there. Oh yeah. So as much as Prescott gets under our skin, I think he can game and adjust to where we got to go. If Jay Flacco can make a run, that was 2012, 10 seasons ago. I understand that 10 seasons ago is not exactly a different era of football. Like 2001 or 2000, that was a different era of football. The 2000 Ravens defense, nobody's going to allow 10 points a game again because the rules will not allow that. But they're going to extend that. They're going to do that. And when they do that, that money is going to pay for CeeDee Lamb's extension, Trayvon Diggs, and Micah Parsons next offseason, whenever he's going to be the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. Especially if he puts out a season this year like we haven't seen a defensive player put out in a decade or two. I think Micah is going to have a season of like 20 sacks, 20 TFLs, 5 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, 3 picks, and 3 touchdowns. One of them being a pick six, 2 of them being scooping scores. I think he's going to be unanimous defensive player of the year. He's been number 2 rookie season and his second season in voting. His rookie season, he was behind T.J. Watt. Last season, behind Nick Bosa. Going into his third year, his contract year, number 11 is going to ascend from heaven. Yes, he has to extend Dak, but doesn't mean he has to be paid highest. He hasn't warranted. Yeah, I know he hasn't wanted that type of contract, man. Yeah, yeah, I know he hasn't. He Prescott is just just like Romo almost. 1 week they can look flawless. I mean flawless, and then the very next week they can look like it's their first game. Look at, I keep going back to Christmas Eve. He starts off with a pick six to Josh Sweat, right? Defensive end, snags it out of the air, stiff arms Dak out of his way, scores. Usually on the quarterback, that'll mentally knock you down. It didn't. Prescott went right back into the huddle when he got the ball back, marched down the field, scored a touchdown. Defense got to stop. Dak got the ball back, marched right down the field, and got another touchdown, took the lead. Wound up putting 40 points on that number 3 ranked Philly defense. I know we got 4 turnovers in that game. Still, he got 40 points on that number 3 overall Philly defense. And then the next week against Tennessee, he looks like hot garbage. I mean, we barely escaped the Titans. Yeah, he played great against Philly. And then the day after, on Christmas Day on Law's show, because Law is very pro Dak. We all know that. He wanted everybody to give Dak his flowers, after his Christmas Eve performance. And, everybody that calls in that he knows real well, he was dogging this and that. And I wasn't going to give him his flowers. In my head, I was thinking, when he plays Tennessee, if he goes out and puts up 35 and just guts that defense and puts up a performance like that in back-to-back weeks, yeah, I'll give him some rose petals. Sure will. But that didn't happen. That was the last good game he had until Tampa. And then after Tampa, he goes up against the number 1 defense, his kryptonite the last 2 years, and just stinks it up. I mean, against Tampa, Tampa's offense last season was the problem. The defense was good. Their defensive line was stout. Their linebackers are good. Their secondary was not bad. So Dak played pretty good against that Todd Bowles defense. I mean, they still have Vita Vea, they still have Shaq Barrett, still have Levante David, still have Devin White, who I think is overrated. Still have Carlton Davis, Jamil Dean, Antoine Winfield Jr. That defense was not bad. Just the offense wasn't that good. Our defense shut him down. And then he goes against San Fran and just gives him the ball twice in the first half on horrible throws. I could understand if the ball was tipped, and fell into a safety's hands, but they were horrible reads and horrible throws. That's why he's a game manager. He's not a prolific gunslinger. He's not a passer. He's not, a Brett Favre or Peyton Manning that's going to throw you to victory Sunday in and Sunday out. I respect Law, but he makes every excuse for Dak. Dak played horrible against San Fran. I know it. Dak is a good person. I mean, at least that's what he projects. He's a good guy. I like him. He's a good quarterback. I mean, he's not bad. He's not a bottom 10 quarterback. He is a top 10 quarterback. But he just struggles with consistency. And his passing skills are not on an A level. He is a B passer, a B, not an A or A plus. Passers of A plus grades are your Aaron Rodgers, are your Joe Burrows, your Patrick Mahomes, your Tom Brady's, your Peyton Mannings, your Drew Breeses. The guys that could carry your offense. In Indianapolis, with Peyton Manning, he was the offense. He carried that team from the time he was drafted until the year that he was out with a neck injury and then went to Denver. He carried that offense. The year that he didn't play with a neck injury, what they go? They won 2, 3 games basically, and it's not like they were punting. They were trying, but without him, they couldn't get it done. Last season, Dak goes out week 1, broken thumb. The next 5 games, we have Cooper Rush. He's nothing special, but he played smart ball. He didn't do what he knew he couldn't do. Only time he did was against Philly because he was real hyped. And I don't blame him for that. He reels off four in a row. Everybody says the season's lost. We're going up against AFC champs. And he first 2 drives are touchdown drives. After that, he gets a field goal, and then they tie it up. Trayvon Diggs gets that big tackle. We get the ball back with one more shot, and he drives us into field goal range with Brett Money Maher, who's got the leg to nail a 57-yarder, wins it, and gives him confidence because he barely beat Minnesota the year before, barely squeaks by that game. He goes to the Giants with confidence, beats them down. He goes, plays Washington, beats them down. He goes to the Super Bowl champs, beats them down, wins by 2 scores. So he's 4-1 going against 5-0 Philly. Yeah, I understand why he went out of character that game. He had 3 interceptions in the first half. And then after that, we actually had 4 turnovers in the first. He had 3 picks, and we had 1 turnover on downs in our territory. And still, in the fourth quarter, he was able to calm down, gain composure. In the fourth quarter, he hits Jake Ferguson, who makes a sick move, makes 2 guys miss, gets in the end zone. It's a 3-point game. Yeah, Dano, you hit on the point. Rush was solid last year. He wasn't nothing special, but he took advantage managing the game. That's all Dak needs to do. But he don't get it. It's almost like Dak suffers from Jerry Jones syndrome. It's like Dak, if the Cowboys win, just say 28-year drought ends, we go to Vegas and we get the title. We get our 6th Lombardi trophy. Dak Prescott wants to be the reason why we won. It's like I don't know what if Jerry had some serum and injected it into him, but it's like Dak has got that syndrome in him that if we go all the way, he wants to be the reason why. He wants to be the guy that threw for 400 yards a game, 4 touchdowns a game in the playoffs or throughout the season. He don't seem like the quarterback that's content on being like Troy Aikman. If y'all remember in the early 90s, he didn't care if he passed for 150 yards, 1 touchdown. He just wanted to win. So if Emmitt Smith ran for $175 and our defense played shutdown and he only had 19 pass attempts for $150 and a touchdown, he was happy. He didn't care because they won. Yes, if that don't get hurt week 1, Dano, that is a hell of a point, and I've thought of that too. Dano says, honestly, I think it was a blessing that got hurt. I think we definitely lose against Cincinnati. Yes, because the team would not have rallied around Dak like they did Rush. And Prescott would have wanted to bounce back from that 3-point abysmal performance against Tampa and light it up against Cincinnati when you don't have to do that. 20 points was good enough to beat Cincy. You didn't need to put up 38 or 40. 20 points is good enough. In the playoffs against San Fran, 20 points was good enough to beat the Niners. But Dak, and he even says on his press conferences that he gets aggressive because he's so confident. We've seen his floor. He's got a very high cathedral ceiling. But that very high ceiling that he has comes with conditions. And that means taking what they give you and play within your means. And you're great. That's why he was so good his rookie season. Because he didn't do more than he had to. He let the run game do what it had to do. He let the defense play defense when they had to. Whenever he had to step up and make a throw, he did. But he didn't force it, like against Pittsburgh, when the game was nip and tuck, and he had to make a play. He had Dez on the sideline for that 58-yard touchdown pass. He didn't force it. He threw it because he was open. Against San Fran, Michael Gallup was not open at all. And I don't care if it was a misread, miscoverage, or whatnot. If he was not 100% sure that Gallup was in the right spot, he should have never thrown that ball, knowing where they were on the field. And his second interception was even worse. I know it's 2nd and 2 and they're going 5 wide. Nobody's open. Lamb is double covered. Safety and a linebacker. And that linebacker happens to be Fred Warner, all-pro linebacker. So he thinks, with his Jerry Jones syndrome, that he can thread that ball in between the all-pro linebacker and safety and get it to CeeDee Lamb. It would have been like a 4 or 5 yard reception when he could have just scrambled up the middle and slid and got the first down, probably got inside the 10-yard line. I believe Mike McCarthy sees this. He knows quarterbacks. And that's why he said this season he wants to run the ball more, control the clock more, let the defense do what they do. He wants to save Dak from himself. He wants to put the best Dak out there. Basically 25 attempts a game. Like 45 rush attempts a game. Control the time of possession. Control the tempo. Let the defense, which will probably be number 1 this season, us or San Fran. Being that San Fran got Hargrave, that is super huge. And that safety they got, Troy Polamalu Jr., whatever, Tyler Lungo, whatever. He's all-pro last year. If he continues to ascend the way he's ascending, you're going to have a Troy Polamalu safety in that secondary with that front seven they have. So I'm not ready to say that we're going to have the number 1 defense yet, but we'll have number 1 and number 2. But he's going to put Dak in a position to game manage. Dak definitely wants to win, but stats shouldn't be important. Look at Hurts, plays smart, and you can see doesn't care about stats. Exactly. Whenever the Eagles should have lost against the Colts, and they had one last drive to win the game, Jalen wasn't trying to thread the needle. He scrambled that entire drive, if y'all remember. I think our game just ended and it went to the Eagles and Colts, and we were like, man, Indianapolis is about to drop them. We were excited. Philly has one more shot, one more drive. And it was like 8 plays, and like 6 of the 8 plays, he scrambled the ball for like over 10 yards each time. He didn't care about threading any needles. He didn't care about the big pass. He just wanted to get the ball across the plane of the goal line. And that's what he did, and they won the game. If Dak were to use his legs more, get that first down, opposed to trying to thread a needle that he can't thread, live to see another set of downs, or throw the ball away and live to see another down, or live to see a punt, or live to see a field goal attempt, would be so much better off. So I think Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer are going to instill that into him this season. Because Dak has shown us what he can do. He's shown us his passing capabilities. They can be great at sometimes, and they can be not so great. And if that's the case, then you don't throw the ball 50 times a game if you can't do it on a consistent basis. Yep, uses best attributes. Dak doesn't sometimes. Could have won the San Fran game easily if he ran the ball. Exactly, Dan. If he ran the ball. That second interception with all the replay angles, if you see the replay from the back judge's point of view, he's got like a 4 yard lane right in the middle of the offensive line that he could have darted through. He is a big man. In Mississippi State, he ran the ball all the time. And he possibly could have scored or got to the one. He could have pulled off that Minnesota quarterback draw. I mean, that Seattle quarterback draw that he did in 2018 when he sit there and did a super flip to like the half inch line. But no, I know he saw that. We all saw it. I know he saw it. But no, instead he chose to try to make an amazing throw. So it might make the highlight reel. They'll talk about, wow, Dak's arm. No, that's not what it's about. A clear run and get the first down to get inside the 10 or maybe even score. He can break a tackle. His leg is fully healed 100%. That broken leg is stronger than it was before. He can truck stick a linebacker if he wants to. He's a big dude, just like in 2021 against Atlanta, whenever he ran into the end zone and went through three guys to do it. And on the sideline, he said, "Yeah, I'm still a big motherfucker." Yeah, he knows he's big. He's not Michael Vick fast, but he's fast enough, and he's got the size. If he would just scramble 5 times a game, just 5, that's 1 a quarter, and then maybe 2 and, that would change the complexity of offense right there. Because when they're playing man coverage and everybody's back is to him, and it's 3rd and 7, and he gashes them with a 20-yard scramble and slides, and if he starts to do that on a consistent basis, then defenses are going to have to start putting a spy on him like they do every other running quarterback. Hopefully this season he gets it in his head that he is what he is. He's a good quarterback. They can throw the ball pretty well. They can run the ball really well. And he's got to use his intangibles to the best of his ability. He's not a prolific passer. He's not. As much as he wants to be, he's not. And I've seen that from his rookie season till now. 2019, when they were about to sign him to a long-term deal, we played the Giants, Washington, and Miami. 3 of the worst defenses in the league. And he has Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and Randall Cobb. And he throws a party on all 3 teams. Actually, against Miami, in the first half, they struggled. In the second half, they came back and took it. So, first weeks, he puts up really good numbers. All of a sudden, his head goes, and then they stop contract talks. He wants more money. And then what happens week 4 at New Orleans with no Drew Brees? Week 4 at New Orleans with no Drew Brees, he couldn't top 10 points. We lose 10 to 12 because they hit a defense. The week after that, what happened? We got beat down because they had a defense. And then we go to the Jets. What happened? We got beat down because Jamal Adams. What's up, Chris Gons, man? Appreciate you for showing up. Can't wait to shut up a lot of these Eagle fans who think they have the world. If Prescott was able to play against the Eagles after Cooper Rush's 4-game run, I think we have a pretty good shot at beating Philly. Because our defense against Jalen Hurts pretty much, limited him pretty damn good. It was like 20, what was the final score? 26-17. I think Dak would have put up more than 26 points at Philly week 6. I think we could sweep the Eagles, especially now they don't have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who patrolled that secondary like Earl Thomas last season. He led the league in picks. They don't have T.J. Edwards, their Mike linebacker, who was like fifth in tackles, fourth in solo tackles. Kazir White also departed. And then Javon Hargrave, by and far their best defensive tackle, is gone. And Marcus Epps, their strong safety, opposite CJG, left also. Marcus Epps being replaced by Terrell Edmonds from Pittsburgh, I think is pretty much a wash. And Kazir White being replaced by the guy he got replaced with, I think is pretty much a wash. But T.J. Edwards getting replaced by Nakobe Dean, who didn't do anything last year. They didn't trust him to play last season, even after he was medically cleared to play. Him and Damone Clark were both question marks playing their rookie seasons. Everybody said Nakobe Dean was the biggest steal in the draft in the third round, and we got Damone Clark in the fifth. They both fell because they were hurt. They both got healthy about the same time. They didn't trust Nakobe Dean to play. Why? I don't know. We trusted Damone Clark. He came out and he played pretty damn well. So, if they're expecting Nakobe Dean to replace what T.J. Edwards was last season, they're in for a big surprise. I don't think he's gonna be near as good as T.J. Edwards was. I mean, Edwards balled out last season. Justin Evans comes from Seattle to replace Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Sean Payton couldn't believe that the Saints traded him for just a third-round pick. He said he would have taken nothing less than a first. I don't know why the Saints traded him, but they did. Justin Evans is a big downgrade from Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Nakobe Dean, big downgrade from T.J. Edwards. And now Jalen Carter, he could have a good rookie season. He could. He's not going to be as good as Javon Hargrave was last year. He's not. He's not going to have 12 sacks. He's not going to collapse the pocket as often as Hargrave did. He's not going to stuff the run like Hargrave did. They don't have Linval Joseph or Ndamukong Suh either. Joseph became their nose tackle last season over Jordan Davis because Jordan Davis was out of shape and he didn't look good at all last year. And now Jalen Carter is already in a little bit of trouble. So we'll see if these big time Georgia picks pan out for these guys. Offense, Miles Sanders goes to Carolina. Why, I don't know. If I was him, I would go to a contender to get a ring. He goes to Carolina so they get DeAndre Swift. It's a good trade for a third-round pick, but he has real health issues, and he has not had more than 700 yards on the ground in the season. And with a new right guard, you don't know how that's going to affect the O-line. They lost a lot of guys. We lost Dalton Schultz. That was it. One guy we lost. And we got better players to fill in the needs that we needed. I think Philly's defense will struggle beginning of the season, but could be better. Yeah. Throughout the season, they're gonna get better. I mean, Nakobe Dean will probably look like garbage the first half of the year, and then maybe start picking it up the second half. Safeties, the defensive line, really. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. And that defensive end that he got. He probably won't get much playing time, but they're going to have to progress throughout the season. They're not going to start off hot. And Fletcher Cox is a year older. He's not the Fletcher Cox of 2018, 2016. This Eagles team is not the same team as last year. I'm telling people. They're not, and they're not going to be as good as they were last year. And Jalen Hurts cannot carry the ball 20 times a game this season. He's got $50 million attached to his name now. And he damn near broke his collarbone against Chicago. And if we wouldn't have blown our 2 leads against Green Bay and Jacksonville, they might have had to play them Christmas Eve. That would have been a big, big decision for them to do, because that would have been for all the marbles. And if they'd have played them, that could have possibly knocked them out for the rest of the year. A quarterback cannot sustain that many runs a game. Oh yeah, Charles, the Eagles fans think their young defense is going to pick up where they left off last season. Yeah, absolutely. Now, the defense will be good, but it's young and they have to get it hard. Yeah, they have to gel. Yeah, I know. The Eagles fans, just because they had 2 first-round picks and traded for DeAndre Swift in the 3rd round, think they got the best draft in the NFL. They think they had the best draft in the NFL. Because they got Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and they got Swift, as a trade. Besides us, because we seem to have the best draft every year, last season, we had the best draft, hands down. We had 5 rookies who were impact players in the first season. We had Tyler Smith, Sam Williams. Tolbert was a disappointment, but Tyler Smith, Sam Williams, Deron Bland, who am I thinking about? Damone Clark and Jake Ferguson. And UDFA Peyton Hendershot. 6 rookies who made impacts. 4 of them were starters, 2 of them were rotational guys. But that is a hell of a big turnover rate on draft picks. Yeah. Dano, I admit I wanted Nolan Smith, but looking at it, Mozzie was the right pick. Yeah, we got edge rushers out the wazoo. I mean, they're talking about, possibly Dante Fowler not making the team. Dante Fowler, who had 6 sacks last season. Randy Gregory's ceiling for us was 6 sacks. He did that twice. If Dante Fowler doesn't make the roster as edge rusher, that's how deep we are at edge. So we didn't need a Nolan Smith. Mozzie, yes, Dano, was the correct guy to pick. We haven't drafted a nose tackle in the first round since 91. Russell Maryland, number 67. And I know number 58 was his number in Michigan. But I'm a sentimental history kind of guy. I would have loved for them to have given him number 67. Just as a resemblance of being the first DT in the first round since 91. Russell Maryland, who was a monster, who was a great one tech, who anchored that offensive line. And Charles Haley wouldn't have been as dominant as he was without Russell Maryland in the middle, swallowing up 2 linemen every play. And not only that, also had Big Cat right next to him, Leon Lett. Having 2 defensive tackles like that, maybe Jonathan Hankins, O.C. Odigizua, could be that Leon Lettish type player. I mean, not as good, of course, but, be a compliment to Mozzie Smith. That defensive tackle rotation could be fierce. And if Quentin Bohanna in his 3rd season, Big Bo, 360 pounds, if Quentin Bohanna could turn the corner in his 3rd season, our defensive tackle, our interior defensive line will be dynamite. And this defense will be impenetrable. I mean, last season, we had the run off the edge pretty much taken care of. We were getting gashed up the middle. We traded for Hankins. Once we traded for Hankins, we saw the difference in the run game up the middle. And then when Hankins was hurt for three weeks, we saw, the difference of teams running up the middle. And then when he came back from injury, we saw the difference again. So Hankins, and then that video I saw last week, that breakdown of him playing, Jonathan Hankins can still take on two linemen at once. He can take on a guard and a center or a center and a tackle. Which is huge because if Mozzie can do the same thing this season with Gilmore and Diggs and Bland, and if Jordan Lewis by week 6 can be healthy, because he'll probably be on the pup list week 1 with that Liz Frank injury. If Jordan Lewis can be corner number 4 by week 6, you know how deep of a cornerback room that is? Jordan Lewis, corner number 4, Eric Scott, corner number 5. I mean, we could play man coverage a pretty good amount of the time and let our guys go get the quarterback on 2nd and 3rd down once we stop the run off first. If Mozzie is what we think he is, and we usually hit on our first round picks. When's the last first round pick that we didn't hit on? Chris Gons. Tyler Smith, I think, is going to be a Pro Bowler. I think he's going to be our next great offensive lineman. I know our all line. I know Zach Martin, Tyron are going to be future Hall of Famers. Yes, they are. Tyler Smith is going to be our perennial all-pro left tackle for the next 12 years. We got so much scrutiny last year on drafting him because he was a most highly penalized lineman coming out of Tulsa. Word on the street was he was really too raw. Technique wasn't there. This and that. He turned out to be the best lineman in the first round. Evan Neal, who was, 7th overall from the Giants? Shoot, man, Tyler Smith outplayed him 3 times over. He was the best offensive lineman in the first round. Tyler Smith. Yes. And what I think is going to be interesting, week 1, when we play the Giants, in round 2, the Giants got lucky and stumbled upon the best center in the draft, John Michael Schmitz. I think Mozzie's going to make him his bitch that week 1. I think Mozzie's going to throw that boy around and make him think he's back in freaking middle school or something, man. That's going to be a matchup to watch week 1. Rookie Mozzie Smith against that rookie center, John Michael Schmitz for the Giants. Daniel, I do think Tyler Smith's natural position is left guard. Hopefully I'm wrong. I don't know, man. He was left tackle his whole college career, wasn't he? I mean, he played great. And then last season at left tackle, he played great. Like I said, on an island, he was great on an island. Let's see who he went up against one-on-one. Week 1, he had Shaq Barrett, right? Week 2, who's the best Bengals pass rusher? It's that Hendrickson, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Week 3, the Giants. You got Thibodeau and you got that guy Oliaji or something like that. He's a pretty good pass rusher. Yeah, size. He's built like a left guard. And then week 4, he has Montez Sweat and Matthew Iodinis and whoever else they threw at him. Week 5, Aaron Donald got the best of them. They lined him up right over Tyler Smith twice in back-to-back plays. he took him to school, but that was good. Tyler Smith learned from that, from the best. Getting beat by Aaron Donald against the Eagles. He goes up against Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, all those guys. Against Minnesota, Daniel Hunter. He went up against a lot of top-notch edge rushers on an island and held his own. And the best thing about it is he's a better run-blocking left tackle. He kept Dak safe and Rush safe in the pocket, but when it comes to running the ball, he was moving boys. Chris Gaughan said, I like our offensive line to build on Tyler Smith, Tyler Beadash, Terrence Steele, hopefully healthy. And yes, he had a better rookie year than Evan Neal, Kenyon Green, and Zion Johnson. Hell yeah, he did. What kind of sucks is Tyler Beadash probably going to ball out at center. I mean, like I said, last year he was alternate Pro Bowl, still made the Pro Bowl, which is strides from where he was in 2020. He'll probably have a great year this year. But after this year, he's probably going to walk just like Connor McGovern and Connor Williams, and we're going to draft his replacement in the draft. He was a fourth round pick, I believe, wasn't he? Yeah, I don't think B Dash is going to get re-signed. He's going to get the bag like Connor Williams did at Miami, and like Connor McGovern did at Buffalo. Oh, there's not enough room after paying Lamb, Diggs, and having to pay Parsons this, next off season. I don't think there'll be enough pie for Dash. So, that second round, I understand getting Shoemaker. He had one good season. He was mostly a blocking tight end in Michigan, and that's why they drafted him, so he could be an extension of the offensive line. They want to run a lot of 3 tight end sets. A lot of people think that he can be a good receiving tight end. They didn't use him like that in Michigan, but we had O'Cyrus Torrence sitting there at 58, and we passed him up. And I know he's not the athletic guard that they like, that guard that can pull really well and do all that, but he was a freaking monster. The guy had unbelievable strength, and he could have been just like the Giants got a steal in round 2 with John Michael Smith, he is a plug-and-play center for the Giants. O'Cyrus Torrence would have been a plug-and-play left guard for us. And our offensive line, for all intents and purposes, would have been rebuilt. With Zach Martin being the elder statesman at 32 years old, everybody else being 25 and younger. Oh my goodness. I would have rather gotten Torrance in round 2 and then in round 5 gotten a tight end. Or if you were gonna get Shoemaker in round 2, even though that boy from Georgia had some injury concerns or whatnot, Darnell Washington, who's a freak athlete, you should have just taken him. Because I think, at least for the first half of the season, Ferguson, Hendershot, and McEwen can hold it down at tight end. Let Darnell Washington, get healthy. He could have been a transcendent tight end for us. In the 5th round, there were still decent tight ends. I know that. But in the 5th round, there were no, top-notch interior linemen anymore. Akeem Richards was a good pick, but O'Cyrus Torrence, I would have bet my house on it. Round 2, when pick 58 came up and Torrence was on the board, and I was like, holy shit, we got Mozzie Smith and O'Cyrus Torrence. Our guard is still there. We are set. And they said Luke Shoemaker, and I said, who is that? I was flabbergasted. Daniel says, reason I didn't like the pick, it takes time for tight ends to develop, usually 3 years, especially for looking to make a run this year. Yeah, it usually does. Ferguson and Hendershot are going into their 2nd year, so they're not rookies. Offensive linemen can be really good in their 1st year, a la Travis Frederick, a la Zach Martin, a la Tyler Smith, a la Osiris Torrance. Hey Charles, I know Torrance was available, but I wanted Simpson, the linebacker out of Clemson, and then draft Mafi. Yeah, you know what? I want Antonio Mafi too. I saw laws break down on him, and he went in the fifth round, fourth or fifth round, right? Uh, yeah, I that was my backup plan. After we passed on Torrance, I figured we'd get Mafi at least. He's a true left guard, pretty raw, but he could probably be coached up. And possibly be a maybe week one starter. Maybe. But Luke Schoonmaker, I don't know. If right now the number one tight end on our team is Jake Ferguson. If Schoonmaker does not show out this season, I'm not gonna understand that pick. I am not. Like I said, you might as well have just got Darnell Washington. Somebody who could have been transcendent. I know he was hurt, but the tight ends we have now could have held down the fort for the first half of the season until he was healthy. But we always question our draft picks, right? Last season, we're Tyler Smith, we thought horrible. 2021, Micah Parsons, we pick him. I'm thinking the kid didn't play in the COVID season, so he's a year removed from football. And he only played 2 seasons in college. How is he a top pick in the first round? And it turns out he's the best defensive player in the NFL, just about. So, right now we're questioning a lot. I know I am. Maybe Schoonmaker is a real deal. Hell, man, maybe he's the next Jason Witten. Shit, who knows? I think, personally, Jake Ferguson is going to be the next ball and tight end. Travis Kelce 2.0. Even Travis Kelce sees it in Ferguson. I see it in Ferguson. It's crazy that he only got 17 catches last year. It feels like he had more, right? But when he was called upon, he showed up and showed out. And he could block very well too, because in Wisconsin, they run the ball a lot. I think Jake Ferguson is going to be Dak's security blanket. Better than Dalton Schultz. He's going to be like, Romo was to Witten. I think Ferguson will be the Dak. Shoemaker will probably be good, but in his own way. He'll be a decent receiving tight end, a really good blocking tight end. Hell, you never know. In his second year, he might be converted to fullback. No, he's 6'7". The guy's got humongous size. Our tight end room is set. We can say that. We can say that. I would rather have our offensive line set than our tight end room set, but that is what it is. We could have got a tight end in the 5th round and still had a really good tight end room. And, got Torrance in the pick 58 and solidified the offensive line right there. But I don't want to go into training camp with questions. And if we do, halfway through training camp, I want them to be answered. And if they're not, go get Dalton Reisner. And then go bring Elliott back home. Because if we do go all the way and take it this season, and Elliott's not there to hoist that trophy up with Dak, and Tank Lawrence and everybody that Zeke's played with his whole career, it's going to feel like something's missing. Elliott should be a Cowboy his whole career. And he has made the second most money of any running back in NFL history. In NFL history, second most money of any running back. So the man is not hurting for money. Like I said, Dak should talk sense into him. saying, "Dog, you got paid. You got paid before me. I had to break my leg to get paid. We both got paid now. Now let's just go out and get a ring." So what if they pay you $3 million, man? We need you. No, knowing NFL players' mentalities, he might go to a team that has no shot at winning anything this year just for more money, which is stupid because it's all about freaking rings. It's all about winning. Charles, 2020 wanted either Sertan Jr., yes, so do we all. Or Micah Parsons. I saw Parsons at Penn State. He was an athletic freak, so glad we drafted him. Would have loved either one. Sertan Jr. is one of the best cornerbacks. Yeah, Patrick Sertan Jr. we all knew was going to be, a Pro Bowler his whole career. And opposite Trayvon Diggs, would have been a really nice combo. But it's okay now because we have Gilmore and Diggs and Bland. Bland can also play the outside. Deron Bland's not a Jordan Lewis. He's not just a slot corner. He can also play outside. But we drafted Eric Scott Jr. with the first pick in the 6th round, traded up to do so for a reason. The kid is already turning heads. I said we drafted him to be Stephon Gilmore's successor once Gilmore hangs it up. I think Gilmore plays 2 years with us. 2 seasons. And then after that, I believe Eric Scott is going to be in his place, opposite Diggs with Bland in the slot. Our cornerbacks are going to be set for years to come. Our safeties are going to be set for years to come. Our D line is going to be. We are so young. How many players do we have? Our average player age last year was like 25.6 years old. Yeah, both Sertan and Parsons is great, but Parsons is definitely the right pick. Yeah, Parsons is. Yeah, if we could go back and choose again, Sertan Jr. or Parsons, tell you, we're going 11 from heaven. Micah Parsons is a game changer, a game wrecker. He transformed our defense single-handedly. Who has ever heard of a linebacker coming out of the draft that runs a 4.3 40? We've seen Micah Parsons play linebacker at a super high level. We've seen him play defensive end at a super high level, and we've seen him play defensive back at a super high level. We saw him in 2021 line up against Kadarius Toney, I believe, and Galladay was lined up right next to him. I think Anthony Brown had that coverage, and they crossed, and Anthony Brown got confused, and Galladay was running free, and Parsons caught up to that and saw what was happening. Daniel Jones throws it to Galladay, who's supposedly going to be open, and Micah Parsons catches up to him and knocks the ball away. That same season, he's guarding Kenny Stills and has a PBU, which winds up a J. Ron Kersey interception, that toe tapping pick against. Parsons is just a transcendent defensive player. Hey, JC Cowboys Network, I appreciate that, man. I'm trying, brother. I'm trying to get to 500, then to 1,000, so I can, like I said, get studio equipment, a microphone, a desktop just for, graphics and film and all that stuff. Right now, it's just my cell phone and I, baby. Chris Gons, Micah makes such an impact on our defense. We got a young team to build on. I'm going to be so mad if we can't hoist a Somebody trophy with this guy. We fell with Ware, who's a Hall of Famer. Yes, our team is very young, Chris Gons. That's why I'm saying that with the money we have in the cap right now, if we were to go, just say, trade for a top 5 left guard and give a first, or go sign Dalton Reisner and bring back Elliott, we would not be selling the farm. Our team is so young and we draft so well that we are going to be contenders for the next 5 or 6 seasons. It's not like this year is it. And even if we, go out, get Dalton Reisner, say we bring in Linval Joseph for, depth, and make another big trade, we're not going to wind up in cap hell like the Rams did and like Tampa Bay has. We're going to be good the next year and the year after that and the year after that. This team is so young. We are set up for a run. We're not just set up for a Super Bowl run this year. We're set up for a Super Bowl run multiple years. That's why I'm saying if we can get over that hump this season. Last year's team looked like the 91 Cowboys. If we can get over the hump this season, we have a chance to go on a run and have our own run in the 2020s, which would be amazing. Dak is only 30. He's going to turn 30 this year. That's young for a quarterback. He's got another 8 to 10 years left, and they're going to, they're going to extend him, even though the flip side of that coin is if we don't extend Dak and he plays this season, after this season his guaranteed money runs out, which means we could depart from him on the 4th year of his contract and move on, but we're not doing that. The Cowboys aren't doing that. Dano, we have 3 huge contracts that need to get done. It's going to be hard signing Land, Parsons, and Diggs. Dano, that's why Dak has got us by the balls. That's why they're going to extend Prescott. Because they extend Prescott, that's going to give us a shitload of cap money. And that's going to be what re-sign CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, and Micah Parsons. We can re-sign all 3 of them. We can do that, and we will. And they're going to be the cornerstones of this team for the years to come. The wide receiver, the cornerback, and the linebacker. And if every year, as long as we keep Will McClay and we keep drafting the way we do, we're going to be good every season. And if we can just make trades like this Gilmore and Cooks trade, and bring in, draft and develop is great and all. You saw how far it got us last year. If Tony Pollard doesn't snap his leg, even with Dak's 2 picks, we beat San Fran. A draft and develop team is great, but if you just add 1 or 2, you're freaking golden. With the way that Will McClay drafted. Will McClay is the true general manager of this team. Jerry Jones has the title, but Will McClay is the real general manager. I don't know where he came from, but the man is amazing at what he does. Oh yeah, Dano. Parsons is going to be the highest paid defensive player in NFL history when he gets his bag, especially when he does what he's going to do this year. If we have the number 1 defense over San Fran, it's going to be because of him. It's going to be because he plays lights out. Like I said, 20 sacks, 20 TFLs, 5 forced fumbles. 3 of those would be strip sacks, 3 fumble recoveries, and 3 picks. One of them a pick 6, and 2 of those fumble recoveries he's going to take to the house. It's 3 touchdowns. I hear what you're saying, but we both agreed that the San Fran game should have been a win. Chris Gons, Lambs, Parsons, Diggs are leaders of the team. Yeah, that's why we're going to be signing, all 3 of them. Dano, I hear what you're saying, but we both agreed that San Fran game should have been a win. Yeah, should have been a win. Should have been a win. And if Pollard doesn't break his leg, I know we win that game. Because, like I said, he was the 2nd most electric player last year behind Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was the most electric player last year. Tony Pollard, well, explosive is the word. Explosive. The Cheetah was the most explosive player last season. Tony Pollard was the second most explosive player last season. That's how important he was to this offense. When Tony Pollard went down, we lost our X Factor weapon that scared the defense. After that, who they had to fear? Roll bracket coverage to CeeDee Lamb, Gallup's on one leg, T.Y. Hilton, you know, is old, and you got Zeke who's kind of washed up. JC Cowboys Network. I need to see him get an interception first before I can say 3 interceptions. He hasn't got one yet. But he's been close. Yeah, I know. He dropped a couple. Yes, baby. I we've seen number 11 get close to getting his pick, but I'm telling you, in his third season, he's going to have a season that we have not seen a defender have in like a decade or so. And those stats I spit out, I mean, that's just, kind of spitballing, but I think he'll get a pick six. He'll score multiple touchdowns. He'll be the unanimous defensive player of the year. It won't be like, a close race, unanimous in year 3, especially with the pounds that he's putting on. He wore down last season because he was undersized, because he played more on the line than he did his rookie season. Now he's putting on the pounds, putting on that muscle. Y'all watch out, man. Number 11, he's going to be putting fear in every offensive coordinator's heart. Every one of them. Even Andy Reid. Even whatever the Eagles offensive coordinator, his name is, I know they got a new OC in DC. Dano, San Fran was shutting down Pollard. All Dak had to do was take what the defense is given to him. Yeah. But Dano, I also wonder why they didn't give Malik Davis the ball. Elliott, when they were stacking the box, they stacked the box. And Elliott was just running into a brick wall. CeeDee Lamb was his only, major target. They were bracketing him every time. Michael Gallup was still on one leg, and T.Y. Hilton couldn't get consistent separation. Dak was trying to make the big plays. He was misreading throws. But that 4-man pass rush that they had with Javon Kinlaw, Joey Bosa, freaking Solomon Thomas, I mean, he wasn't getting sacked, but the pressure was coming to him. It was getting into his face, and his clock was ticking quicker than it was supposed to. Pollard would have made at least 1 or 2 big plays in that second half, I think. Chris Gons, can't believe our legend coach Jimmy Johnson turns 80. Wow, does he really? We should have won more Super Bowls clash. If Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson don't clash egos, we win 5 in a row. I would put money on that. 5 in a row if they didn't have that egotistical bullshit. He's 80. What was funny? I wish that was funny. His hair never moved. Never moved. Like, he had super hairspray. Never moved. And the only time you saw it move was whenever he got the 2 Gatorade baths on the back-to-back Super Bowls. And he said, if we win the Super Bowl, you can do whatever you want with my hair. And that's exactly what they did. They gave him the Gatorade bath, and they messed up his hair as much as they could. I mean, it could be windy. It could have been a blizzard out there, and his hair was it was something else. I don't know what he had, but he had some gel hairspray that was super glue. I mean, his hair never moved. Yeah, Malik Davis, a rookie, UDFA, played well when he got his chances earlier in the year. Fresh legs. Elliott's legs were not fresh. He was worn down. Malik Davis might have given us a spark. I throw him a screen. I mean, he's faster than Zeke. Zeke's a power back. You're not gonna run San Fran off the field with a power back. And all around back, maybe a speed back, maybe, but not a power back. Power back is to close games out. Like if Zeke was playing in the Green Bay game, we would have won that game. He would have closed it out in the fourth quarter. But Pollard was gassed. Elliott was on the sideline. Oh man, so many things last year. Oh man, we were so freaking good. And I remember the game against the Jaguars. It was blacked out here in Houston because I live in Houston. So I had to go to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch a game. And I'm sitting next to a guy wearing a Leighton Vander Esch jersey, and we're getting along, and we're up by 17 late in the third quarter. By this time, we're starting to relax. We're talking about the next week against the Eagles, how it's going to be for the division, and we're getting all excited. We're having a good time. And then the Jaguars get down there, score a touchdown. And the very next drive, Dak throws a horrible pick to get them inside the 10. And then all of a sudden it's a 3-point game. And then we go into overtime, and we get the ball to start overtime. And the ball bounces off Noah Brown's hands into the defenders. And they run it back for 6. And I'm sitting there in disbelief. And me and this guy that I had never met before, we didn't say another word to each other. We both just got goals and left. I was so sick that day because I knew after losing that game, the game against Philly really didn't mean anything. All right, Dano, you got to go. Yeah, it's 8:05. I should probably shut it down too. Um, Hey, Daniel, I do appreciate you for showing up. Chris Gons, I appreciate you for showing up. JC Cowboys Network, thank you for checking me out, man. I do appreciate it, brother. Hey, I don't know your Twitter handle or whatnot. If you can put that in the chat, man, let me DM you. I'm telling you, dude, let's do a little collab. We'll put on some entertainment, you and I. I'm telling you. You can somehow beam me in. I'm 36 and I'm not caught up with technology, and that's sad. But if we can just do a show together, I think that'd be awesome for the both of us. Everybody who was in here, I appreciate it, guys. The show is an hour and a half. It was a success. My third successful live show. Thanks to Dano, Chris Gons, and JC Cowboys Network, who's already eclipsed that 1,000 subscriber mark and has come to show me some love, because that's what we do here in DC Nation. We show everybody love, guys. If you're watching this and you watch it till the end, you're a real one. I love you for it. We're going to do this one more time, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, on the count of 3, if y'all can hit that subscribe button. It seems to work for Mike Fisher. Hopefully it works for me. On the count of 3, let's hit that subscribe button, guys. 1, 2, 3. Boom. If you hit it, I love you. You're a real one. I love you for it. On 3, if we can hit that like button. 1, 2, 3. Like. If you did it and you hit it, you're a real one. I love you for it. Keep God first and foremost. He comes before everything, even this. Seek Him in His righteousness, and everything else in your life will fall into place. I am a living testimony of that. I've got so many testimonies of the Lord. I can tell you it would make your head spin. If you have any questions about Jesus and Christianity, don't hesitate to ask me in the chat. Not trying to make this a religious program, but it's my duty to spread the word. Hopefully, the next time I see y'all, it'll be on a big move we made out of nowhere. Like, we were kind of talking about earlier. Chris Gons, thank you. Charles, go Cowboys. That's right. You and JC would be a great collab. I think so too. You hear that, JC? Chris Gons saying you and I should collab. Let's do it, my man. I like a 30-minute hour show. plenty of content we can come up with and talk about. We can make it like undisputed. One of us be Skip, one of us be Shannon. Yeah. Keep working hard, Charles. Go Cowboys. Chris, I am, man. This star has been a passion of mine since I was 6 years old. I was born in '86. In '94, February '94, when playing Buffalo in Super Bowl 28. It was the first time that I saw the Cowboys play. I knew football then. I didn't know all the teams yet. I was 6. Playing Buffalo. My dad was not a Cowboys fan. He was going for the Bills. I remember the halftime show was country artists, and he was real excited about that. And for some reason, that star, before the game even started, just seared into my soul. And at halftime, we're down 13-6. And I'm getting nervous. I'm actually feeling stress at 6 years old on this team that I've just met. And I say a prayer during halftime that we win. One of my first prayers ever. And then we come back in the second half and we shut them out. We win 30-13. And I looked up. I looked up and I thank God, and I thought because of my prayer, that's why we won. I thought because I thought if I didn't pray, we wouldn't have won. So I thought my prayer was the reason why we won. And so I always make a joke that the Cowboys led me to Christ. And ever since that night, I've been a Cowboy fanatic. Fanatic to the T, to the definition of the word, to the 10th power. From the 94 season, I remember pretty good. But from the 95 season till now, I remember I've seen every game of every season. I've got detailed memory of every season. I could freak you out with some stuff I remember that people shouldn't remember. I've always had a good memory. I can memorize movie lines and stuff. I can run down the 94 season all the way to now in depth in every season. I mean, it's just, I've got a Rolodex up here. It'll spin, ding, read that. I mean, it's crazy. You too, my man, Chris, Dano, JC, Cowboys Network, DC for life. And like Terrell Owens said in '06, get your popcorn ready, because it's going to be a show. You best believe that. It's going to be a show. And like I said, hopefully next time I see y'all on my next video. Hopefully we make a big move before training camp. Jerry Jones, you said you would write an obscene check to get that last Super Bowl. Put your money where your mouth is, my man. That's it for this episode, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Cowboys Sports Report by Charles in Charge. Like always, I give you everything I got. Please donate to the channel. Help me get to Oxnard. After that, all donations will help build the channel as far as equipment, sound bites, studio equipment, desktop. After week 18, whoever donated the most will get playoff tickets. Maximum 3 persons, 50-yard line, lower deck. Second place, get 2 jerseys of their choice. Home, away, alternate, custom, doesn't matter. Third place will get an Emmitt Smith Rookie of the Year card. Can possibly be signed by then. If donations are really, really good, then prizes 2 and 3 will probably be better. But for right now, that's what it is. That's it for right now, guys. Please subscribe, like, and share. I cannot implore that enough. Help me get this channel to where it needs to go, because it's going to be the real one, I guarantee you. That's it for this episode, guys. Y'all have a good weekend. Charles and Chargers out.